Hai korang, Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to my channel. Jangan lupa subscribe dan juga share video-video aku. So ini adalah part 2 video aku di Srebrenica, di Memorial Center Srebrenica Potocari. Dan kali ini aku berada di galeri extension daripada galeri yang aku telah kunjung sebelum ni lah. Kali ini galeri ni berada di sebuah barek. Jadi untuk pengetahuan korang tempat ni dinamakan The Srebrenica Memorial Center ataupun nama fullnya adalah Srebrenica Potocari Memorial and Cemetery for the Victims of the 1995 Genocide. Dan tempat ni telah di-establish pada tahun 2000 oleh High Representative of Bosnia and Herzegovina. So mereka merangkumi semua info, semua bukti peperangan, juga mangsa-mangsa di tempat inilah sebagai peringatan kepada dunia. Ini adalah peninggalan kasut-kasut mangsa-mangsa perang yang telah dijumpai di sepanjang kawasan Srebrenica ni lah. Membayangkan kasut-kasut ni pernah dipakai oleh seseorang yang sekarang sudah tiada lagi kat dunia ni. Lagi satu cerita yang aku boleh recall oleh driver aku tadi, ada sekumpulan daripada mereka telah bersembunyi di sebuah gua perbukitan, tak tahu lah gunung ke bukit. So tempat kawasan tu banyak gua. Jadi mereka sembunyi tak tahu berapa lama, sehingga mereka tak tahu yang peperangan Bosnia sudah pun berhenti, sudah pun berlalu. So sehingga mereka terjumpa dengan peacekeepers, iaitu daripada UN dan juga NATO yang telah terjumpa mereka di kawasan perbukitan itulah. Yang ini mereka ceritakan di mana mereka jumpa barang-barang. Kirakan kawasan ni lah tempat di mana mereka bersembunyi, di Luka, kawasan Luka. Tempat kawasan di mana mereka bersembunyi, dan di sinilah terjumpanya kasut-kasut, peninggalan baju-baju seperti ni. Radio pun mereka jumpa. Jadi mereka ni survive daripada memakan apa yang mereka dapat jumpa lah, seperti daun-daun, rumput-rumput, kayu-kayan dalam hutan. So it's betul punya survival mode lah. Okay korang, sekarang aku berada di Srebrenica Genocide Museum. Okay. Kawasan ni adalah kawasan barak so sangat luas. So telah dijadikan tempat museum. Wow, besarnya. Jom kita explore. The Bosnian Serb method in this second major phase of ethnic cleansing followed a pattern. In the villages south of Srebrenica, the Bosnian Serbs would lob a few shells an hour into a small number of villages. Then after 2 or 3 days of this desultory shelling, some infantry, a couple of tanks and a couple of APCs sebenarnya dalam grup tadi ada termasuk aku 5 orang. Yang 4 tu tadi semua Mak Saleh, aku seorang je muka Melayu, muka belacan.
Oh, okay, cool.
So kita orang semua kat sini lah sekarang. Semua berpecah, buat hal sendiri. We got the whole place to ourselves, gitu Tapi ini bukan tempat untuk bergurau, because it's a genocide museum. Banyak benda yang apa ni kata orang, too much information lah terhadap peperangan ni, yang susah untuk aku ketengahkan pada korang. Korang harus datang ke sini lah, ke Bosnia sendiri untuk experience ataupun menyaksikan dengan mata kepala korang sendiri tentang memorial peperangan genocide ni. Ini apa ni? Tak faham. Bahasa Bosnia kot. Ini English. Oh ni this guy by the name Hurem Suljic, dia ceritakan, since it was a late night, I saw we passed by a building next to a school and we stopped at some point. Panjang cerita dia. So korang, tadi aku ada sebut yang majoriti mangsa perang Bosnia ni adalah kaum lelaki, dan inilah bukti mangsa-mangsa yang telah dibunuh beramai-ramai ataupun genocide. Inilah dia gambar-gambar mereka yang telah gugur masa peperangan itu. Dan ini adalah barang-barang mereka. Ni adalah dia punya IC kot. Tak tahulah, ni dalam bahasa Bosnia, bukan bahasa Inggeris, so aku tak tahu ni benda apa. Ni leather jacket. Ni ada juga dia punya passport code. Omar's vehicle registration and driver's license. Driver's license. Ini Fahrudin student record booklet. Tasbih Aku tak tahu nak, I'm lost of words lah. Aku hanya boleh mengucapkan la haula wala quwwata illa billahil aliyil azim dan astaghfirullahalazim. Macam nak nangis pun ada. Sedih. Ni makcik ni diceritakan maybe in English.
Nema muškaraca, više nema. Ja sam 12.13. smo u zadnjem zatvornicu sata, to je podraz smo morali da napustimo. Jeli muškarci, pokazujući da...
Korang pun ada yang dihantar ke detention camp. Kira macam concentration camp juga masa Holocaust. Dia nak buat macam Holocaust lah. Kira ni betul-betul punya ethnic cleansing tau. Di mana puak Serbian, mereka ni orang suku kaum Serb, mereka majoriti beragama Christian Orthodox. Jadi mereka ni tak tahulah apa dalam kepala otak si Slobodan Milosevic ni, hendak merampas ataupun menguasai wilayah Srebrenica ni secara seluruhnya, dan tidak mahu mana-mana suku kaum kira hiduplah dalam wilayah Srebrenica ni. Kira kan nak orang Serb je lah tinggal kat sini. So ni kira macam in desperation, diorang nak membunuh beramai-ramai masyarakat pribumi Bosnia Muslim. Zalim. Ini gambar-gambar. Sini ada big screen ni. Aku rasa aku nak tengok big screen lah. Allah.
Svi ostali koji su muškarci koji su ostali u čovjeku smo osvojili, civili koji imaju veze s vojskom, treba ispitivati, treba izdvajati. Ja sam više objasnio, znači nije došlo do izdvajanja samo koji su sposobnih, došlo do izdvajanja svih muškaraca u području. Nije bio niko drugi u Potočanima osim muslimani. Potrebno je bilo da budu muškarci i bili su izdvojeni. Isti ti ljudi su 14. unutarnjih satima prebačeni na teritoriju Republika, privremeno zatvoreni, prebačeni na Grad, zatim uzvori, nakon prebacivanja uzvori bio mogu i uzvori što su na teritoriji Slovačkog.
So guys, sepanjang peperangan ini seramai 100,000 lebih telah terkorban, dan 66,000 adalah masyarakat Muslim Bosnia, dan hampir 2 juta, iaitu separuh daripada penduduk Bosnia pada masa itu telah menjadi pelarian beramai-ramai di negara mereka sendiri. Aku masih ingat lagi masa tu aku masih sekolah baru masuk sekolah menengah kot. Baru habis sekolah rendah nak masuk sekolah menengah, di mana peperangan ni telah berlaku. So aku masih boleh recall lagi lah tengok TV, dia punya berita kan, pasal keganasan WhatsApp kepada masyarakat Bosnia Muslim pada masa tu. Memang masih terngiang-ngiang lah kat aku punya telinga dan juga flashback. Padahal masa tu aku masih budak lagi kan, masih student. So korang boleh bayangkan tak kalau let's say pada masa zaman tu ada mobile phone, ada smartphone. Pasal tak ada smartphone lah, diorang berani buat benda-benda macam gini. Ada sekarang pun, masa zaman sekarang ada smartphone pun, kau tengok masih berani juga So ni bukan pasal teknologi lah, ni semua pasal kerakusan manusia, kezaliman manusia yang tidak pernah kenal erti puas. Kau tengok nenek ni, kesian nenek Bosnia. Kita orang telah ditempatkan. Kita telah diberi tak silap aku dalam 2 jam 2 jam ke 3 jam untuk kelilingi kompleks memorial ni. So according to aku punya driver, lepas kita dah explore the whole complex ni, kita akan dibawa ke perkuburan yang sebenar lah, perkuburan massal yang terletak tidak jauh daripada tempat ni. So sebenarnya this journey adalah perjalanan yang paling bermakna dan perjalanan yang telah memberi impact kepada aku sepanjang aku punya travel lah. Korang daripada travel tak tentu arah kan, travel entah ke mana just for leisure is okay, tapi pergilah tempat-tempat seperti ni, you know. Jadi it will make you reflect through life, about life, you know, how fragile our life is. Anything can happen in a split second. Semua boleh berubah dengan sekelip mata. Yep. Hi.
This problem for the Serbian government at that time was not that they killed those men. You see the killings.
Yeah.
This is now afterwards. The biggest problem for them was actually showing the direct involvement of the Serbian soldiers.
Yeah, not
This is this is from some regular Serbian troops.
Yeah, so they said.
And that explanation of they, said what they were doing there, why they were taking part in the genocide. They would say, "Oh, that unit was there and there. Oh, we did not know that they are there."
Like
how can you cannot know that one unit of your army is in another country? That's
Ya,
their
aku punya
explanation.
driver.
They were doing that on their own. We did not know.
It's ridiculous.
It doesn't make any sense.
Driver aku.
here to recover from all kind of illnesses and diseases and injuries. There is one well, for example, good to treat skin diseases. Another well is good to treat eye diseases. Third well is good for the kidney diseases. There is even one well that they call beauty water. Basically, ladies believe that if they wash the face every morning, you know, they will be more beautiful.
Is it still open?
It's open. Those wells are actually, those wells are still there. You can go there. You can get that water. In those days, there was a facility there. You know, basically recovery, treatment doctors, all of that. You know, nowadays all that is devastated, and that's why lots of these tourists will come, especially from Yugoslavia, stay in the hotels and then go there for the treatments and all of that. For example, this used to be a well-known restaurant in those days. So people would come on these terraces, you know, enjoy the view and have the meals there. So in those days, Srebrenica was doing quite well. That area where the memorial complex is nowadays, that used to be an industrial area of Srebrenica. Lots of companies were operating there. Still, some of them are still active. So even workers from Serbia would come and work there. In that time, we were one state. We were Yugoslavia, so they will be coming and working there. Nowadays, as you see, Srebrenica is kind of forgotten place. Very quiet. And now less than half of the pre-war population are still living here.
Right.
Around 7,000 people nowadays are living in the town itself. In pre-war time, around more than 50,000, 15,000 were living here. 15,000. Less than half.
Yeah.
And Srebrenica is type of the place where you have to come on purpose.
Yeah.
Because this road ends about 10 kilometers from here, and actually through that road Serb forces entered the Srebrenica. They came from that side. British soldiers got there, you know, when the Serb soldiers tried to do the same thing what they've done here, they actually responded with the fire. They stopped them.
Right.
And then NATO responded with the warplanes as a support to the British soldiers. They started using those cannons that they have on the tanks and all of that, and they engaged in the fight with them and they stopped them actually. So that's the difference, because the British soldiers, they took the action, you know, and they stopped them. So they never entered that area.
God, that's
So that's the difference. So that's the difference. You can find that on the internet. You can see that they were engaging with them, because whenever they try to violate the perimeters of the safe zone, they will immediately react. They will not wait. They will not see like, oh, you know, we demand from you that you withdraw. They will immediately react, because that was their mission, to protect that. So they immediately they will start. And whenever Serbs complain that they're actually helping us, they will say, we are just doing our mission. You signed the deal, and we have to go with that deal. You agree that this will be the safe zone, so you have nothing to do here.
If you honour it, we won't shoot at you.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Yes, and we are only protecting the safe zone. We are not going outside that.
Yeah. We're not getting involved in anything. I think
And they do.
the most respectful way you could do it, like the fact that they reburied them and here, and it's so good.
Yes, and they only do that on the July 11th.
Yeah.
That's when they have mass funeral. So all the victims that have been identified to the past period, let's say from the past July 11th until next July 11th, they will be buried here.
Altogether.
But in order that victim can be buried here, the closest family member has to agree with that.
Right.
That's why there's no year of death. You can see that some of these victims were very young. For example, you can see these guys here, they were just 16 years of age.
Teenagers.
You will see over there, some of them were 14, 13 years of age. You will see later on, you can go to this and see that. And then you see, for example, Sujic family. You see, this is all from one family. Then I will show you something in the background.
Okay guys, aku sekarang ada kat perkuburan masal di Srebrenica. Inilah dia nama-nama yang terkorban lah. Kebanyakannya adalah keluarga Bosnia. Dan di belakang sana semua adalah kubur-kubur mereka. Hai. Kubur-kubur ini sebenarnya adalah kubur para korban korban yang telah digali semula di perkuburan masal, di mana mereka ditanam beramai-ramai dan mereka telah digali semula oleh keluarga para korban dan di-identify dan dikebumikan secara Islam lah, secara syariat Islam di tempat ini. Dekat shelter ni aku tak perasan, rupanya shelter ni tempat solat macam surau gitu. Tapi oleh kerana tengah hujan, so aku pakai je kasut. Tempat solat. Ni anjing ni apa tadi? Apa tadi? Tempat wuduk. Inilah dia ukurannya. Dia punya batu nisan semua ikut cara Bosnia. Ini tinggi. Okey. Lebih kurang inilah dia bukti sejarah peperangan Bosnia. Mereka ni adalah mangsa yang dibunuh tanpa belas kasihan. Kirakan dia being killed for nothing, for just being a non-Serb. Kalau korang boleh tengok dia punya nama-nama semua, kebanyakannya daripada keturunan yang sama. That means satu surname. That means they are from one family. Ada Hasanovic, Hanif, Halilovic.
So you can see another type of the marking, those green boards there. Those are temporary markings. Those are the victims that have been buried on the past July 11. And then after 1 year, these green boards would be replaced with this stones. This is 5 brothers, so 5 sons and father are killed and buried here.
Poor people who were left behind.
This shows you the extent of that, because they did not want to leave anyone. They want to completely wipe out.
أهلا وسهلا قولا ولحنا منا لكم كل احترام أنتم بني.
Okay korang, thank you for the time and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe pada mereka yang belum subscribe, and jangan lupa like dan juga share video-video aku, and stay tuned for the next video. Okay, Assalamualaikum.